The mystery surrounding Menglong's death had already stirred the entire city into a quiet storm, but nothing shook the public more than the shocking revelation that emerged days later. His personal phone, the one device believed to contain the truth behind his final moments, had somehow ended up in the hands of a relative of the former Beijing party secretary. To many, this wasn't just suspicious, it was explosive. To others, it was the missing piece of a puzzle that had always felt carefully hidden behind velvet curtains and political shadows. When investigators first discovered that the phone was no longer with the hospital staff who documented his belongings, panic rippled across social media. Fans demanded answers. Friends whispered among themselves. Even people with no connection to him felt a strange chill, as though they were watching the beginning of a movie where every character was guilty until proven innocent. How does a private device, locked with fingerprints and encrypted messages, travel from the hands of a dying actor to one of the most politically connected families in Beijing? The story begins much earlier than anyone expected. In his last week of life, Menglong had been unusually quiet, selective with his appearances, and more protective of his phone than anyone around him had ever seen. His assistant once recalled that he held it like it was the last thing he trusted. He had been receiving calls at midnight, deleting messages immediately, and recording voice memos that he never saved to the cloud. Some of his close friends believed he was gathering evidence, though no one knew against whom. Others said he was communicating with someone who didn't want to be known, a woman, a whistleblower, or maybe even someone trapped in a political scandal he accidentally stepped into. On the night of the mysterious incident that put him in critical condition, eyewitnesses reported that Menglong had tried to make a call moments before losing consciousness. One witness said he saw the actor stumbling toward a streetlight, clutching his phone tightly, as though trying to protect it from someone. No one knew who he was calling. No one knew what he had discovered. But everyone knew one thing. Whatever was on that phone frightened someone powerful enough to retrieve it before law enforcement could secure it. The first strange event happened inside the ambulance. The medics were focused on stabilizing his breathing, but a blurred figure was later seen on traffic camera footage, walking near the ambulance doors during a brief stop in traffic. The figure wore a mask, a hood, and gloves, and seemed to be inspecting the side of the vehicle. The footage was grainy. Security agencies claimed the details were inconclusive, and the public was left to draw their own conclusions. But what truly made people uneasy was what happened at the hospital. When the ambulance arrived, nurses insisted they collected Menglong's personal items: wallet, bracelet, watch, and phone. It was standard procedure. Everything was logged. Everything was sealed. But by the next morning, the phone was gone. Nurses claimed the security detail had transferred it. Security insisted the police had taken it. The police denied ever receiving it. And then, for 48 hours, silence. No institution claimed responsibility. No footage showed its removal. It was as if the phone had vanished into thin air. Yet the biggest twist came when journalists uncovered a leaked message thread between two hospital employees, revealing that a black government-plated car had arrived at 2:17 a.m., 3 hours after visiting hours had closed. Two men stepped out, presented a sealed authorization letter, and asked for a sensitive personal effect belonging to a high-profile patient. One nurse said she didn't want to hand it over, but when she hesitated, one of the men said her job could experience an unexpected transfer. She obeyed. By morning, rumors spread that the car was traced to a compound belonging to a relative of a former Beijing party secretary. And with that, the internet exploded. People wanted to know, why would someone so politically connected be interested in the phone of a celebrity known mostly for romantic dramas, singing appearances, and hosting shows? Theories erupted like wildfire. Some believed Menglong had accidentally captured something on camera, perhaps a recording, a photo, or a voice message that implicated a high-ranking figure. Others speculated he had been offered a role in a political documentary and overheard something he wasn't meant to hear. A few suggested he had been helping someone in danger, someone connected to the party secretary's family. But the most discussed theory online was darker, that Menglong had been in a relationship, friendship, or conflict with someone connected to the political circle, and that the phone contained messages, proof of a scandal waiting to break. People close to him confirmed he had been stressed that week. He confided in one friend that he had seen something that didn't feel safe to talk about yet. Another friend said he was planning to meet a journalist the same week he ended up in the hospital. Some fans claimed he posted a cryptic story a few days earlier showing a silent, empty corridor with the caption, "Truth has footsteps." The narrative became even stranger when a former driver for government officials anonymously claimed that certain political families were obsessed with controlling narratives, and that if a celebrity, influencer, or public figure ever came across information that could spark controversy, those families would act swiftly to contain it. He described collection units, small teams of discreet operatives whose job was to retrieve data, devices, or documents without leaving legal trails. Weeks later, online users pointed out that the men who arrived at the hospital acted exactly like one of those units. When reporters attempted to question the relative of the former party secretary about the phone, the official's office refused interviews, responding only with a single sentence, "No personal belongings of any public figure have been received or handled." But citizens weren't convinced. Too many coincidences. Too many unexplained events. Too many missing details. While the public debated and speculated, something else happened behind the scenes. Menglong's closest friend revealed that the actor always used encrypted apps and saved backups to an offline device. That meant if someone stole the phone to erase evidence, the truth could still be somewhere. Knowing this, certain fans began searching for clues in his posts, captions, and even the background of his old videos. They believed he left hints, breadcrumbs pointing toward what he discovered. Whether these clues were real or imagined, the obsession with finding the truth kept his story alive far longer than those responsible expected. Meanwhile, his family reportedly made several attempts to recover the device. They filed inquiries, contacted lawyers, and requested transparency from authorities. Every request was pending review. Every effort hit a wall. The phone became a ghost. Everyone knew who likely had it, but no one could admit it without consequences. In the weeks that followed the revelation about Menglong's missing phone, the story no longer belonged to the authorities, the hospital, or even the political insiders who tried to wrap it in silence. It belonged to the people, his fans, his friends, the curious, the outraged, and the ones who felt something was deeply wrong. With every passing day, new fragments of information surfaced, exposing how far-reaching the shadow behind his disappearance truly was. The most haunting detail emerged from a hospital janitor, a man in his late 50s with trembling hands and tired eyes. He didn't want to speak, but guilt weighed heavily on him. One night, as he mopped the hallway outside the emergency ward, he heard two men whispering sharply inside a room. Their voices were low, urgent, and impatient. The janitor recognized one of them, not by name, but by his walk. Stiff, confident, the walk of someone used to people stepping aside. The other man spoke hurriedly into a phone, saying, "We have it." But he tried to record something. Someone else might have a copy. The janitor froze. That one sentence changed everything. It meant Menglong hadn't just witnessed something, he had documented it. And someone feared those recordings enough to retrieve the phone before his family could even hold his hand. The janitor said he saw a small black case placed on a metal tray. Inside it was a phone, gold-colored, thin, unmistakably his. When the men left, one of them made a call saying, "It must go straight to Madam Lee. No detours. No scans." The name, Madam Lee, rang alarms across the online community. She was known quietly as the powerful relative of the former Beijing party secretary, untouchable, discreet, rumored to control certain political narratives like a puppeteer behind heavy velvet curtains. While the public processed that revelation, another witness stepped out, a taxi driver who had unknowingly driven one of the mysterious men from the hospital entrance to a prestigious gated compound. The man had been tense, sweating, constantly checking the case he carried with him. At one point he muttered under his breath, "This shouldn't have involved him. He wasn't supposed to see anything." The taxi driver shared this anonymously, but it fueled an already raging fire. Meanwhile, rumors spread that the phone wasn't just stolen, it was immediately duplicated, cracked open by a private digital forensics expert from within the political circle. People speculated the device contained encrypted voice notes, screenshots, videos, or messages that would expose something dangerous, perhaps a corruption chain, a secret meeting, or a wrongfully hidden incident. People began to rewatch every live stream, interview, and post Menglong had ever made, searching for clues or hints. The phrase "he tried to warn us" started trending. A fan club member who attended every one of his concerts swore that during his last meet and greet, he whispered to a fan, "If anything happens to me, don't believe everything they say. Look deeper." Whether this was a real memory or something shaped by grief, no one knew. But it added to the emotional intensity surrounding his final days. His family pushed harder for answers. They were blocked at every official step, emails unanswered, calls redirected, questions ignored. One of his relatives tried to approach a government office directly but returned home shaken, saying someone warned them to let things rest for your own safety. That only stirred more anger. People began organizing silent marches in his honor, holding up signs of phones drawn with wings, symbolizing the truth that had been taken away. During one of these gatherings, something strange happened. A young man fainted while holding a poster, and as people rushed to help him, two unknown men grabbed his fallen bag and quickly walked off. Inside the bag were printed screenshots from an anonymous leak, messages allegedly from Menglong's phone. The crowd chased the men, shouting for security, but the men vanished into the night. This only strengthened the belief that someone was monitoring every movement, every gathering, every attempt to reclaim the truth. Late-night live streamers became digital detectives, analyzing suspicious movements around the hospital the night of the incident. One streamer captured a blurred figure standing on the rooftop across the hospital, watching the entrance at 3 a.m., just as the black car arrived. When viewers zoomed in and adjusted the brightness, the figure appeared to be holding something resembling a communication device. The clip went viral within minutes. But the most shocking turn came when a whistleblower, a young woman who used to work inside the political relative's household, sent an anonymous voice note to several media platforms. She claimed that when the phone arrived, Madame Lee reacted with visible panic, as if she already knew what was inside. According to the whistleblower, Madame Lee said, "Delete everything that could cause trouble, and find out who else he told." Her voice trembled as she recorded the message, saying she feared for her safety. Within hours, her identity vanished from online directories. No one knew where she went. Meanwhile, Menglong's best friend stepped out with a revelation that shocked everyone. He had once helped the actor purchase an off-grid backup device, a tiny, encrypted flash drive specifically designed to store sensitive information offline. He said he wanted something no one could hack remotely, the friend revealed in an interview. "At the time, I thought it was just celebrity privacy. Now I know he was scared." The moment this news spread, fans erupted with renewed hope. If he backed up his data, then the truth wasn't gone. It was somewhere, hidden, untouched, waiting. The search intensified. People theorized it might be in his apartment, his studio, his car, or even with someone he trusted secretly. Conspiracies mixed with hope, and hope mixed with determination. During a night vigil at his grave, hundreds lit candles and placed mock phones carved out of paper, symbolizing the truth they believed he fought to protect. One elderly man, who said he wasn't even a fan but felt the injustice deeply, raised his voice and said, "They took the phone because truth scares them. But truth doesn't die with the person. It waits." People applauded. Tears rolled down faces. Someone recorded the moment, and the clip reached millions. As dawn approached, a rumor swept the crowd like a sudden wind. Someone had anonymously mailed a package to an independent journalist containing a small metallic device, one that matched the description of Menglong's backup storage. Whether real or another psychological move by those trying to bury the truth, no one knew. But it signaled one thing clearly. This battle between truth and silence was far from over, and the world was watching more closely than ever.